Hello everyone, I will be quickly demonstrating a workaround for the Katana deadline error. If you try to submit a job as like the way you've been taught, you'll be getting this error. I'm looking into a fix for this error, but meanwhile, I have a workaround for you guys so you guys can render your jobs and continue working. I will be using a demo scene for CryptoMath, but it doesn't matter. What matters is you need to be sure your output locations are like correctly set from your like the CA template, and also you need to know your render nodes names, the nodes that you want to render. You need to make sure that you know the exact names. It's like the capital letters, lowercase, uppercase. It is case sensitive. So how do we submit? You can launch your uh, deadline monitor, then go to submit tab, then 3D, then Katana from this list, and by default if you are opening it the first time it will be completely empty on the bottom side, but because I did my testing earlier it is already filled out. So this is like a manual submission tool instead of like this integrated submission, so it won't get your job name as your scene name. So you need to came up with your namings. I'm just gonna say like this is like 0302, sorry. Then I don't need to put anything to comment department as long as you don't have anything to say. I will be using my own like the convention for the pools and secondary pools. If you've been addressed or it is announced in a different way, follow the most up-to-date way. But the old way is like the pool is your term number, secondary pool is your department, then priority is your like pool number, then task timeout 0, machine limits and dependencies, you don't need to touch anything about it. And the important part is you also need to show the deadline where your file is. So you need to go to the location of your Katana project file from the CEA storage 10 location. Then select the file that you want to render. After selecting it, double check that it's still from like CA storage 10 working direction. You don't need it by default. Another manual thing you need to set is your frame range, however you want it to do, and you can use all the other like the ways of like if you need to use like other conventions it still works, but by default you just need to give it a range or individual frames, whatever you need to render. Frames per task by one because our computers are like Katana is heavy, so one is okay. And another thing you need to be careful, version needs to be set to be 5. By default it should be at 3. So if you try to submit to 3 it will fail. Change it to 5, and then you need to put the same name of the render node that you want to render. So if you have like multiple ones, you need to use this window to different ones. And so for example now I'm just gonna hit submit, and it will say like successfully if you did everything correctly. Then if I go back to my monitor, I can see my job is there, and this window doesn't close itself automatically. So if you try to click background, it's not gonna let it do it. You need to close this. Then you can check your jobs that you just submitted. I'm gonna fail my old job, and this is the one that I recently submitted, and it looks like it's working. But another disadvantages of this manual submission, by default it sets the machine limit to 1 for some reason. So you need to set this thing to 0, so it will use all the available machines instead of just one. How you do this again? You right click the job you just submitted, modify job properties, or Control P when the job is selected. Then by default it will be opening at the general tab. You need to go to machine limit tab, then where it says like workers that can render this job simultaneously, you need to set to 0 and hit OK, and you can see it started to grab other available machines. And one final thing, because this is manual, deadline doesn't know where the output is. So either you need to know where your output is, like in this case it's like this location, and it will be like just like the file name. Don't copy like that. Let's go to the folder. Come on. I think it's because of the direction of the slashes. Another way what you can do, you can open your task reports, click the log, scroll to the bottom, and at the bottom of the end of it, before it gives you the statistics, it will tell you where your output is. Let's copy this one, and now I can see the files that's been just rendered out. And that's all. It's a little cumbersome, but at least you guys can continue using the render farm for your Katana projects. And as always, if you have any other questions or problems, let me know. I will be looking to the fix for the integrated submission. But other than that, let me know if you need any help. And see you guys later. Bye.